minute late. I thought I was going to be on time. I'm a minute late. Oh well. 'Tis the story of Bonnie Gillespie. She's gonna be late and worth the wait. Hello, beautiful people. It's Bonnie Gillespie. We are doing Astrology Reframes. I'm so excited about this one that this may actually become like a thing, like a whole regular thing. I'm stoked. I'm excited for this one. Are you? Tell me, where are you coming in from? This is earlier than I usually like to get going. I know, at the crack of dawn, 10:45 a.m. Pacific. All right. Hello, my husband, #1 fan. I know, that is dynamic. It changes throughout the broadcast. My #1 crown. Carla, how is everyone today? Hello from Victoria, British Columbia. So good to see you, Carla. Thank you for joining live. Thank you for joining in replay. Continue to put your questions in the comments area after the live. I will circle back around. Also, I think this may become a thing because what I did was I sent out a little, hey, I need some help at both the Chart Harmony Discord, link in description, and the Bonnie Gillespie Robot Bonnie texting app, also phone number to text in the description of this video. Have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have, do it again because it feels good. Get yourself grounded. Be present. The world is a lot. Get that shadow side. Yes, the call is coming from inside the house. I almost said that, Keith, that Keith is coming not from British Columbia, but from a few feet that way. It's Lisa. Hello. From Little Rock. So good to see you, darling. Excellent. Calico Shoes. Hi, Bon, from your astrologer friend in Virginia. Good to see you. Tracy. Hello from Maine. My goodness gracious. Tuning in from Connecticut. Susanna, I love it. Oh my gosh. EJ says, oh my gosh, I can actually be present for one of these. Yay. Big yay. Big yay. Y'all. So I sent to the Chart Harmony Discord and my texting app, what are some astro reframes that you would like help with? And I got some really great suggestions. So many, in fact, that I brought over a whole freaking folder of them. I don't think I'm going to share my screen. I mean, I may at some point decide to share my screen, but what I've got is a whole bunch of screen grabs where people are hilarious in the way they ask the questions also, because they are just so, like, I can taste, I can smell, I can hear, I can feel, I can touch your frustration sometimes over the astro reframe that you're looking for. So let's first start with, I'm good at the astro reframe because, y'all, I was born with 15 freaking natal squares. Like, just using the basic planets and placements in a natal chart, I got 15 natal squares. And I got a little problem with that. 16 natal squares would be a square. It's right there. Why 15? Why not 16? I mean, come on. But I've never seen anybody with as many natal squares as I have. And it's just, if you have stelliums in the same modality or quality in your chart, you're going to have a bunch of squares. And that's me, because I got a Libra stellium, I got a Cancer stellium. And so there's like all of this energy squaring itself. And the square is a problem solver. That aspect, astrologically, is, here's a problem, let's solve it. What are we going to do? And it means that I have spent my life overcoming the squares in my chart and figuring out how to solve that problem, The downside to being a problem solver in life is that after a while, everything starts to look like a problem that you got to solve. It's not a great disposition to have, which is kind of why Chart Harmony exists. It's like, how can I get at peace with more of the things that are in my chart so that I'm not fighting with it all the time? Because I don't want everything to be a fucking wrestling match, right? So I also have empathy for folks who have like a bunch of natal retrogrades. I have some clients who've got like 6 natal retrogrades, and that's kind of like as many as you can get. It's a lot. I've got clients who have, and a spouse who has, planets out of bounds in the natal chart. And, you know, things that are retrograde may be late in development, or they may be things that you just kind of always do a little backwards in life, or lessons that don't come until later in life. Things that are out of bounds natally can mean that you grew up believing there are no rules around a certain area of your life. And what is that like? I mean, it's problematic sometimes, potentially. Also, there's just dignity, planets being afflicted. There are so many ways that planets can be weak in our chart. And I kind of want to just get into a dialogue almost regularly that is, how can we look at that differently? How can we lean into the better worldview of that? The fun part is, it's really easy to bag on astrology and like the signs, the planets too, the houses too, but really the signs. And that's how meme culture exists astrologically, because, you know, I made a list here of like, you know, Neptune's the liar, Virgo is the critical sign, Leo, all Leos are extroverts, you know, all Scorpios are sexy. I got one that was so good. Hang on, let's see. Here's the phrasing of it. Because I asked, what's an issue that's been stressful, or a myth about your sign, or something that you'd love a different story for? That's what I sent out to my text app. And West came back and said, I am sick, all caps. I am sick of the framing that Capricorns must be high-powered corporate business people. West, I hear you. I hear you. Let's talk about that. Like, in general, the classification that a certain sign must be this, or a certain planet must be this, a certain house must be this. Because people come to astrology looking for a container, looking for rules, looking for a story that helps them make sense of their own chart and of the things that are coming up in life, we get these very easy log lines, these very simple classifications that we can use for something that's incredibly dense and potentially overwhelming. And we make it less overwhelming by getting super general about it. It's, of course, sun sign astrology exists so we can have capitalism work. Speaking of Capricorns and capitalism, yep, it's right there, cap in the name. I know, that's not how it got there. The story, though, of we're going to lump sun signs together and tell a story about them became popular not even 100 years ago, when newspapers needed to have a regular feature that would bring people back again and again and again, because news could be slow in getting, you know, into the paper. What can we do that's always going to fill space, that's always going to be something easy to do? And it's, let's lump people together by their sun sign and talk to them about the generalities that tie all these people together. And sun sign astrology, of course, is not how astrologers do astrology. It's how pop culture does astrology. But it means that we have to use these even broader brushes to paint the generalizations about certain signs. And the reframe for that I like to use is, especially where something like West's suggestion of tackling Capricorn as this high-powered, corporate, success-driven, goal-oriented goat climbing the face of the mountain and all that, and I use those terms as well. Capitalism specifically has co-opted Capricorn, has turned Capricorn the sign into this identity of this greedy, power-hungry, climb, succeed personality. And it's not even really what the story of Capricorn is. And without getting too deep into what the mythology of it all is, so much so that we will talk about Capricorn and use masculine pronouns when it's a feminine sign. And gendered signs is an issue in general, and I am going to tackle that a little bit. And when we find ourselves doing things like calling Scorpio a masculine sign and Capricorn a masculine sign, we see that we've got actually feminine signs, or as I like to refer to them, receptive signs, as opposed to assertive signs. That's how I handle the gender situation there, because that's really what the labels are trying to do. If we think about it, the very beginning of labeling things genderedly, we are doing so in a way of what is the more active or the go out and get of the air signs and the fire signs? What is the pull in and receive, magnetize, bring to of the water and the earth signs? Here we are taking a good chunk of the more receptive signs and turning them into the shadow sides of those signs, and then rewarding them for being more masculine, more go get, more like even Leos that are a masculine sign, an assertive sign. We reward the part of Leo that is forward facing, get out there, you want to be on stage. We put all this attention on the attention seeking part of Leo, and that doesn't describe all of what a Leo is. And that's another one that I got a lot of notes about from my texting app and from our Discord. Let me see if I can find the favorite one that I got here was, yes, Sheila. Sheila said, when it comes to myths that she would like busted, that Leos like the spotlight. LOL. Have they met autistic Leos though? I mean, I know, Sheila, I know, for real. But in general, the Leo taking the spotlight and loving it is a story that serves a certain kind of narrative that is rewarded all through our culture. And so it's almost like when we hear certain things that become the meme, the easy slack way of saying the thing about the sign, that generalization, it is the thing that the sign gets dragged about in the meme accounts. It is often the stuff that we're going, wait. We find this displeasant. I like my fake word. We find it unpleasant, displeasant, disconcerting because we're actually throwing labels onto signs that don't really need to go there. They're not correct, but they're also correct enough that these are the most popular of all the accounts on social media when it comes to astrology. Like, we love the ways that certain signs are dragged because we know someone who's like that, and we're able to go, oh yeah, heck yeah. And then of course, if we open it up and go a little deeper, we're going to see that there's a lot more to it than that. But here's the part that I will ask for all of this. In general, if you can remember that the myths, the ways that we cluster people together by sign, the things that we say that are really like meme worthy type things about the signs, it's all to help us have shorthand for something that is incredibly overwhelming. And so what I like to do is say, I like that generalization because it helped me get into the story. It helped me get in there, even if it was, for me, the 15 natal squares problem solver. It was to help me get into it so I could maybe create a reframe around it. What a great opportunity to use my muscle for the reframe. So we're going to dig into some of these. And the reason I think that this could become a regular thing is because so many suggestions came in and they are so specific and so juicy. And I want to honor them and give them space. While, of course, hopefully speeding through this enough that it's not like I'm going to do private coaching in front of the world in mini sessions kind of things. Although that's also part of what it is. Okay, yes, bounds are for people who think they need reality, says my husband, whose moon is out of bounds natally. Yep. I love it. Danny says, I'm so excited. I caught the email earlier this morning. Good morning from Northern Utah. Danny, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Moondust says, yay, happy to see your face. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all, I love having y'all live in the comments, in the chat as we are going. Let's do a couple of these. For me, houses, let's start with that because this is kind of how I was turned on to this topic. I was working with a client who is like Placidus, ride or die for the Placidus house system. I grew up Placidus. It is how my mother, the astrologer, did charts. She did charts by hand because we're talking 1970s, 1980s, and the 1990s as well. I did eventually give her my computer. Like, I was getting a new computer, so I gave her my old computer, and we got some astrology software. And I was like, look, let's get you set up so you can use some astrology software on this computer. And she just never. By the time that an astrology software for a consumer level use became an option, she had already been doing charts by hand for more than 20 years. So of course she was like, it's fine. I may do something quickly in the app. It wasn't called an app, in the program, but I'm always going to do charts by hand. And she did until she was gone. She did all her charts by hand. It was amazing. It's such an art. Oh my God, such an art. The Placidus upbringing that I had was something that put my natal Uranus in the 12th house, because it is a smaller degree than my rising. I have Libra rising. I also have a Libra moon conjunct my rising. I also have Libra Jupiter. Okay, so I've got Jupiter in the first house, moon in the first house, rising in Placidus starts the first house, all Libra. And then I have this Libra Uranus that by Placidus was up in the 12th house because it was a smaller degree than my ascendant. Still is a smaller degree than my ascendant, but in Placidus, that puts it in the 12th house. The 12th house is a dark house. It's where we keep secrets. It's where we have a lot of our shadow stuff. It's things that don't really express as, certainly not as much as things that are in the first house. The first house is like, that's our personality. That's the driver of our life car. That's how we lead and put ourselves out in front of everyone in the world. And so here I am, absolutely Uranus 12th house, because I'm a good girl. I don't break rules. I am big into my Libra stellium, loving the rules, in fact, because they give me some structure to work around. I am, in fact, militant about when rules are broken, something is badly wrong, and there's no room for exception. This is my early life. This is probably part of how I felt safe growing up. And if I ever broke a rule, I was going to get caught. I was going to get in trouble. I was going to be an example. So I am a big, rules girl, you betcha. And then I became aware of whole sign houses, but kind of along with everybody else, with this resurgence of a lot of the traditional astrology techniques. And this is because Project Hindsight happened in the, I want to say, early 2000s, or at least that's when the early aughts, that's when it really hit. Don't quote me on when Project Hindsight started, because it may have been earlier, but it got popularized. The stuff that Project Hindsight did really got popular in the aughts. And this was all of these ancient texts being recovered and translated, and the awareness of timing techniques that had been lost, and the awareness of, wow, whole sign houses was actually what was in use long before a lot of the quadrant house systems. And so you started seeing this surge of popularity in whole sign usage, and this especially around 2010 and into the teens. You started seeing a lot of people using whole sign houses. And so I decided in 2018, I'm gonna also take a look at what whole sign houses does to my chart. And like most people, I was hesitant to use it because I was so married to my chart the way it was in Placidus, because that's the story that it told about me. It put things that were hard to deal with in places that I was used to having problems. And it certainly, the most pronounced thing is it put that Uranus, that rule breaker, in a dark house, 12th house, secret rule breaker. And I'm fascinated by the fact that I got so into whole sign houses after my Uranus opposition. The Uranus opposition is a midlife transit that we all have, and everyone who's had it goes, yep, I can track it. I can tell you exactly what it is that really got changed, because the Uranus opposition is that thing that happens in usually our early 40s where there's a before and after. Every place that you weren't feeling free, there was this breakthrough of, nope, I'm free now. And it kind of is a hand grenade thrown into your life, and a lot of stuff gets discombobulated, and not always for the better, except that when you look at it later and go, oh yeah, Uranus was trying to help me be free, help me break free. then you kind of go, okay, I get it. I'm down with it now. I am fascinated that whole sign houses came into my life after my Uranus opposition, and whole sign houses puts Uranus in my first house, where it is much more pronounced. It is much more active. I am much more rebellious, and I lead with that break free rebel stuff. And I had to have it tucked away in my 12th house earlier in life because I was already constantly in trouble growing up, and I needed to not make it so bad for me growing up that I got sent to some kind of special place to have to deal with all of that rebellion. Instead, it was low-key 12th house expression of rebellion through some more subversive ways. And in my life now, I lead with, let's break that. Let's go ahead and tackle it. Let's come at it from, what do we need to undo? What needs undoing? And let's lead with that. And I'm like, wow, I'm fascinated by the fact that whole sign houses gave me permission to do a first house Uranus, which I didn't feel I had permission to do until I was probably even in my late 40s at that point. So what I did with a client recently was I said, can you get curious about where you were when you learned about a different house system? And can you allow yourself to tap into what your chart changed about you? And when people get really butthurt about, like, I don't like what happens when we change the house system, but I go, then don't change a house system. Don't change the house system if you don't like how it changes you. But if you're curious about, well, hang on, am I a different person than I was when I started? And when I started learning astrology, but also when I started just being, you know, maybe that's something to lean into. So that open-mindedness is kind of what I'm asking for with all of this. And let's get into some of the astro judgy of it all, because this one from Ashley really summed up a lot of it. And Calico Shoes is telling me that Project Hindsight was 90s. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've reframed this for myself already, Ashley says, but for other Geminis, they are often told they are two-faced. Yes. And what actually is meant by Geminis are two-faced is you're probably not going to be able to tie Gemini down to one choice, because Gemini always wants to know, but what else is there? And that sense of curiosity and of constant, well, yes, I like this, but I also like this. And I want to say yes to this, but I also might want to say yes to this. I want to keep my options open. That's not two-faced except by meme culture. Of course, by meme culture, it's so easy to say, oh, which Gemini did you get? Which twin are you dealing with? It's super easy to use that surface level paintbrush, right? But the truth of Gemini is, as with all mutable signs, I don't want to close off my options. I don't want to tie myself down, because to be tied down is to no longer be mutable. And that is a part of what the actual signature of Gemini is. I'm not a Leo, but I hear a lot. This is back to Ashley. I'm not a Leo, but I hear a lot about Leos being narcissists. So Leos lead from the heart. Leos are the most heart-centered. How do I take this glow that I feel, which can be seen as narcissism in our dominant culture, because it is often weaponized and used that way and rewarded that way in our world. Like I said at the top, fire signs, very much rewarded for all of that. And that energy of Leo is, I want everyone to feel this glow. I want everyone to be able to trust that enoughness and shine like the sun. And so that is absolutely not what a narcissist is. A narcissist doesn't give a shit about anybody but themselves. A Leo is, in fact, someone that wants everyone to experience that shine and feel how good it feels to have that belief in yourself and what you are capable of. Have heard, back to Ashley, that Taurus is lazy. Oh yeah, in all the most beautiful Venusian ways. Taurus is Venus ruled, as is Libra, And Taurus loves a nap, loves a good meal, loves a good nap after a good meal, loves a good book, loves a great pillow, loves a great story, loves to take a leisurely walk, all Venus things. And that lazy is just, if I'm going to have to use some energy, I'm going to make sure it's worth it. It's values driven. It is, if I am going to expend energy, you better believe it's going to be on something that I value, because why would I bother investing in something that I'm not turned on by and I'm not feeling, period, end of sentence. You know, Taurus is on vibes. Absolutely. Next, Ashley says, Aries don't finish things. Aries are great starters. Oh my God. Aries are the best starters. I need Aries in my life because they help me start things. And I don't turn to Aries for how do I get this across the finish line, because Aries has moved on to the next thing they need to start. That's what their energy is great at. So why would I count on an Aries to help me finish things? Even people who are Aries know they got to pull from somewhere else in their chart or in their soul to get something all the way across the finish line, because the Aries energy is not about delivery. It's about initiation. And when we lean into that, it's beautiful. But when we fight it, why do we fight ourselves? Why do we want to fight ourselves? Oh, because if dominant culture has it their way, we are constantly fighting ourselves because it makes us easier to dominate and confuse and see shit show, blah, blah, blah. Pisces disconnected from reality. Yeah, here's your reframe on that. Pisces is actually hyper-connected to all realities, all timelines, all dimensions simultaneously. It's not disconnected from reality. It's connected to multiple realities simultaneously. Cancer, too emotional. Cancer feels all the emotions, and that includes emotions that are not theirs. And that can become overwhelming if Cancer does not have, like all water signs, a good practice for cleaning out the sponge, wringing it out, emptying the tank. It's like an aquarium. If you don't keep the water fresh, it's going to become problematic, because especially with Cancers, it is a lot of other people's emotions that get stuck up in there. So we need to make sure that we have a regular energetic hygiene practice. Virgo, too anal. And I think what Ashley means is too like anal retentive. Too, like, I mean, Virgos could prefer anal, don't know, but I'm pretty sure what Ashley means is anal retentive, obsessive compulsive, all those things that we used to throw out as insults to Virgos before we were made aware that you shouldn't use mental health issues as ways to insult anyone ever. You know, John Hughes movies, man, you gotta, there's a trigger warning on language for all that. It does not age well. The things that we used to throw out as insults. And here's one, can we fix this one? I keep hearing people use the word lame to describe something as not cool. Yeah, that is an ableist insult. And it's that I think we gotta correct that one. If you've used that, see if you can pick another word. Because it's not actually what you mean. You almost always. But for Virgo being too persnickety, let's say that's what Ashley might mean. For Virgo being critical was another one that was sent across to me from someone else. Actually, a couple people sent me on the Virgo. Virgo was like, why do you pick on us all the time? And you being everyone, not me, but everyone. I mean, which does include me. But it's Virgo is here to see all the problems, see problem solver earlier in our conversation, because Virgo is the healer. And Virgo needs a list of everything that needs healing in order to begin the healing process. She's a beautiful healer, and part of being a good healer is you are fully aware of everything that needs healing. So the way that gets weaponized is Virgo gets told, you find the fault in everything and you're so critical. And instead of it being, thank you for helping me run a highlighter over something that needs healing, and I'm going to stay with you, Virgo, so you can help me heal that, we get so mad at the Virgo for pointing out the flaw that we then turn it into meme culture. You know, Virgo is aware of all the details. Believe me, they would love to have less awareness of all the details. They would love to get a vacation from seeing every flaw. Like, I mean, it's exhausting to look at every string of comments on the internet and wonder, why did grammar die in school? Why are people not taught the way to, like, the typos, the using the wrong words, I mean, ouch, just ouch, 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 Virgo. It's a lot. They would love to not see it. And some of them have learned how to not say what they see. And that is unfortunate, because that turns off what is so beautiful about the Virgo ability to heal. Because when we turn off, we don't want to hear Virgo being critical, we also turn off the opportunity to receive that healing that Virgo is just so, so good at. Libra, wishy-washy. Hey, guilty. Libra is indecisive because Libra is always trying to people please. And how do you please all the people all the time? Not possible. So it is a constant battle about, well, which one am I going to choose? Very similar to Gemini, air signs in general. It's don't pin me down, don't make me choose. But also it is, I want to make sure it's not just fair for everyone who's choosing. I want to make it fair for all the things that are being chosen. Like I said this to Melissa in our podcast the other day. It's not just, I want to be fair to everyone who's ordering dinner, so let's make sure we're ordering from a place everybody likes. It's, let's also be fair to all the restaurants. We ordered from that place last time. We can't order from them again. We have to pick something else because it's not fair otherwise. I know. It looks like Ashley kind of went through like almost all the signs. Didn't hit all of them, but yeah, Scorpio, scary, sharp temper, or can't be trusted. No. Yeah, very definitely. Scorpio likes to have receipts that others have not yet seen. I think that's great. I think it's amazing. I can always trust that a Virgo has all the awareness of all the things, and I don't feel the need to try and be as well informed about a thing as a Scorpio is. I'm like, I don't need to see the receipts. I'm good. My Libra does not care about all those receipts. Scorpio definitely wants them all, loves to dig deep, get to the bottom of things. Absolutely. All that intensity is just an absolutely beautiful thing that Scorpio loves to do. LMAOOO says Moondust. About what? I wonder. 100% says Calico. Virgo rising, I feel this so much. Yes, I'm one of the ones who stay quiet lots of times. Right, EJ, because if you've been taught that it's not fun when you, Virgo, run a highlighter over something, you stop running a highlighter over something. And instead, I hope we are surrounded by people who can help us lean into the gifts that we have and not see them as problems. I mean, but of course, we're born into charts that help us live out those charts and experience hopefully a healing with a lot of it. I mean, that's part of why chart harmony exists, is so we can come into alignment and balance with more of what our natal charts have provided us in terms of opportunity. Let me see another one that's in here. Oh, one of the people who wrote in on my texting app, I said, you know, what are the myths about signs, planets, houses, etc. that you would like busted? And Jean said that I'm a powerful psychic. That's a myth I would like fixed. I would say I've taken classes, I facilitate healings, I'm intuitive and connected, yet where is my confidence? And this is someone who's got big Pisces energy, so she knows she's psychic and also has a lack of confidence around those psychic abilities. I'm going to pull up another one that I think goes with this really well. And this is from Pine at our Discord. So I've sadly seen people who aren't memeing, because in the memes we can kind of go, okay, grain of salt, whatever. I've sadly seen people who aren't memeing say Mercury in Pisces is bad at communicating. To be honest, the whole good versus bad at idea can get ableist real fast. Yes, especially when you're trying to say that there is a normal or a not normal way to communicate. Not saying everyone with Mercury and Pisces is neurodivergent by default, just that the mindset disproportionately affects neurodivergent humans, and I'd be shocked if that mindset was just about astrology, not gonna lie. I agree. Pine, yes. Cosine, yes, all of this. I have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, Pine says, and other Mercury and Pisces people seem to be all good communicators. In my opinion, no placement is better than another. Some just meet society's arbitrary standards better than others. My clapping is not making good clapping sounds because I'm wearing my little wrist supports, because I woke up with my joints being very, very EDS. They were being very not happy today. So I'm giving them a little extra support. But yes, clap, Pine. Please say it again for the people in the back. Oh my goodness, yes. So Pisces Mercury retrograde. Whew, that's a lot. So y'all have seen me do my whole, I've shown this in multiple forms, but you've seen me show my no diggity dignity chart, and then there's my chart harmony color coding thing. I finally put them in this little book that I can carry around with me. But if we take a look at the dignity situation, yeah, Pisces has a hard time with Mercury already. It's not only the sign of Mercury's detriment, but it's also the sign of Mercury's fall. What does that mean? In essential dignities, it means that Mercury underperforms in the sign of Pisces. Retrograde, bonus. Going to be late to develop, possibly. Going to not communicate in traditional ways. Possibly going to be neurodivergent, possibly going to be nonverbal. Let's go back to Pisces is like, why are you limiting me to this timeline? Why are you limiting me to this dimension? I'm not escaping the here and now. I am simultaneously here and now and everywhere else and every when else. That's Pisces. So you put Mercury there, and Mercury, that is, let's do the details, let's do the communicating, is going to go, wow. So Mercury shows up to Pisces and says, we can go to so many different places and so many different dimensions, and we don't even have to use words to communicate. This is so cool. And dominant culture says that's a problem. Put that in a special school. That's a problem. Put that in a different classroom. That's a problem. Slap a label on that. Medicate that. And what, like Pine said, that gets ableist real quick. What is actually true is the Pisces expression of Mercury is so much bigger than what we're capable of in our dominant culture. This is what society wants and needs and approves of, brains. So when we're open to all the creativity that opens up, it's beautiful. But when we are, I'm sorry, you don't fit in this box, you're in grade school and you're going to be in trouble for the way you communicate, those are types of things that become problematic, and then they create a sense of low enoughness in us growing up, and then that sense of low enoughness is exacerbated through attracting people that are going to continue to tell us something's wrong with the way we communicate. We're going to see it in our media. We're going to see our leaders making fun of things that are part of our reality, and it's going to be really tough to find our folks. And then we find our folks because we get into astrology and we go, oh my God, there is so much acceptance. There is so much love. There is so much space holding for me and who I am and how I self-express. I had no idea that could exist, and I'm so glad you found that. Yeah, but it's challenging until you do, right? Do you like my no diggity? You like my dignity, no diggity? Yep, I know. I gotta have fun like that. If we're not having fun, why are we doing it? Oh my gosh, I haven't even poured my fizzy water, and we are at 40 minutes in. Okay, put questions in the chat, those of you who are here with me live, because I have a bunch more, and I'm definitely not going to get through all of these that I screen grabbed from Discord and the texting app. I'm not going to get through them all, so we will do We will do more. We will do more, but I want to make sure for those of you who are here live that I get you covered as well as some of the ones that I have saved over here for using today. So on the Pisces of it all, by the way, when I put in my texting app, what kind of myths need busting, Holly replied 3 words, my Pisces sun. Y'all. Is Pisces the most misunderstood sign? Here's what I love about it. Pisces doesn't really care all that much that they're misunderstood, because they're understood on some timeline, in some dimension. Not here right now. No big deal. That's all right. There's others. There's other places to float around. Okay. Virgos are critical. I got this one a lot. Virgos are critical. Jane. Got it. Virgos are critical. All right. Ooh, I want to do this one. Bridget asked, I would say a reframe. She didn't ask. She said, I would say a reframe on the 4th house would be helpful. I've found the origins or family connotations are tough to incorporate as a person who moved away from blood family. I said blood family. I kind of like that. You moved away from blood family. Same. And it's always felt a bit out of touch with understanding of how to move forward in life with my sun, moon, Venus, Mars, all in the 4th house. Okay, Bridget, 4th house stellium. Yeah. So I love something I heard Bear Ryver say in a podcast hosted by Kira Taborn. And I don't think that iteration of her podcast exists anymore, but in her podcast where they were going through the houses and the axes specifically, Bear was there for the 4th, 10th axis and specifically said, I see the 4th house as the house of the unseen parent and the 10th house as the house of the seen parent, the public parent. And so as someone who always put my dad in the 4th house and my mom in the 10th house, which is the exact opposite of the way it's taught, I really liked his framing of the 4th, 10th. And I think Bear is they, them, pardon me. Bear said specifically, it is the unseen parent or the parent you detached from, the parent that you did not get the connection with. This is for people who are adopted. You would put the birth parents there. This is if you don't know, if no one knows the creators of your makeup, because there are no records. If the paternity is in question, this is going to be able to handle a lot of that in that 4th house. And they said specifically that the 10th house is the more public parent, the one that when people think of you and think of you being parented, that's the parent that others would be able to observe. And I really like that framing. I thought that was really great, because my mom is definitely my mom is most of my life 8th house parent. Not that that's a place where we generally put parents, but because I connect with my mom since she has passed a lot more readily than I did when she was around. And we were together all the time when she was around physically, but it was 10th house and then she shifted to the 8th house. But I do like the reframing of the 4th house as ancestral roots, and those roots don't necessarily have to be where the tree ends up growing, but it is where the tree began. So that's a slight reframe that may be helpful for that one. Susanna says, curious on a reframe for Jupiter in detriment or fall as being lack of access to success or wealth. All right, Susie, let's talk about that. So this is curious on a reframe for Jupiter in detriment or fall. So back to my no diggities. So that would be, oh, I forgot. I also have this list of all your lifetime's major transits by age. And this is an offer that I keep saying I'm going to build called So You're Turning ... Okay, so Jupiter does not like being in Gemini, Virgo, or Capricorn. So if you've got Jupiter in one of those, and there was actually somebody who wrote in with a Gemini Jupiter 7th house, in fact, and I think that may be what my husband has. I think. Yeah, I mean, and this person who wrote in specifically said, Jupiter's 7th house is supposed to be, I have all this luck in my relationships and I have nothing but explosive. It never stays around. It always just implodes, explodes, like blah, disaster kind of relationships. And I said, that sounds very Jupiter to me. That also sounds non-dignified Jupiter to me. The no diggity of it all. Yeah, Gemini, Jupiter, 7th house. Yeah, okay. So also Jupiter and Gemini, but in 6th house for Susie. Okay, great. Great. Okay, so we got a lot of that. All right. The Jupiter story is really easy to tell with the I have access to luck and success and abundance, right? But then we put Jupiter in Gemini or the other signs of its detriment and fall, and we get into a situation of so much overwhelm. It's almost like too much of a good thing, especially when we're looking at the detriment signs, which are Gemini and Virgo. So a Jupiter in Gemini or Virgo specifically are going to be overstimulated by how much Jupiter allows. And we got to remember, Jupiter as the ruler of Pisces, we've been talking about, and I know modern rulers are going to go, no, Neptune. We're going to kick it traditional for this conversation because it serves our purposes right now. But the Jupiter rulership of Pisces, again, speaks to the fact that Jupiter is always on multiple timelines, multiple dimensions, and it's not too much. It's not too much for them. But Gemini and Virgo say, Mercury, here and now, need to keep it small, need to make the list of all the things. The reason it's overwhelming is because the list keeps growing. The list is too big. The list keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger than I can manage, and that's Jupiter for you. And that's why, if we can remember, Jupiter still has access to all the abundance, but /and in Gemini or in Virgo, Jupiter is clear on the overwhelm of multi-dimensional, multi-timeline conversations, because conversations, Mercury rulership of those signs. Then we start to go, great, how do I get Mercury and Jupiter in sync with one another? I'm so glad you asked. The mutable signs are all ruled by either Mercury or Jupiter. There's your relationship. It is modality. How can I connect with the other mutables to help my Jupiter that is in detriment, aka Gemini or Virgo, by leaning into the fact that Jupiter itself is the other axis of mutable signs? How can we use that square between the mutable signs to help with that weight? Jupiter square, Pisces sun. Calico, come on now. It's like I'm doing this just for you. So good. Jupiter square my sun as well, but Virgo sun, Susie. Yeah. Yes. So, looking at the fall sign of Jupiter, which is Capricorn, this is where we get into how Capricorn has been weaponized by dominant culture. And Capricorn says, we need to be serious. We need to get to work. We've got things to do. There's no time for all this abundance. There's no time for all this faith. I don't like that. I find that really mean. And also, it is Capricorn's ability to be practical in the face of how will we ever handle all of the things that allows Capricorn to continue to get shit done. And get shit done is weaponized in dominant culture, but all Capricorn is a master manifester, like all earth signs. So we're going to lean into the element with this. You can absolutely realize all the abundance of Jupiter when you consider how the element, or back to the modality, how the element or the modality, so earth sign if Capricorn, modality mutable if we're talking about Gemini or Virgo, will help you access the parts of Jupiter that feel a little no diggity with the low dignity situation. I hope that helps. I know I'm talking to people who know astrology well enough that you're like, oh my God, yes, access it through the modality, access it through the element. But I want to make sure that that's clear, that the reason Jupiter says have all the faith in the world is because Jupiter doesn't stop measuring at the end of this world. It measures all timelines, all dimensions. It doesn't measure like Mercury does. It doesn't keep score like Capricorn does. Why does Capricorn keep score? To keep up with the rungs of the ladder that they are always moving up. And again, that gets weaponized and masculinized. And the way we can go, oh, I actually am endlessly optimistic, but I'm overwhelmed by what endlessly feels like. So how do I bring it to the here and now? Dip into it lightly. Dip into it like it is an overflowing wellspring of optimism and faith and joy and abundance. And you just need to take a penny from the share a penny cup or bowl or dish at the bodega. You don't need the overwhelm of it, because that feels like drinking from a fire hose and it's going to be really painful. Love it. Mutable mirror party. Look at you two. Oh, yay. Love it. Love it. Glad y'all are connecting. Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. So one more on this. Oh, actually, I'm gonna say this one too, because Teresa said this over in our Discord. I have a handful of planets in retrograde: Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto. Yep, Jupiter in the 7th house. What, so wonderful for relationships. Okay, yeah, sure. My 7th house is Gemini and also has both my North Node and DC in it. There are also some squares in there that are interesting as one grows up and into them. Yes, for sure, the squares. Teresa, so I attract Sagittarius rising like you would not believe, which of course is what is putting Gemini in the 7th house. And I love that. Especially Jupiter 7th house. I'm like right now surrounded with Jupiter 7th house Gemini folks. It's awesome. What it is giving you the opportunity to do is say, okay, yes, this Jupiter in the 7th house means abundance, and yet I don't have that story of, it's big pressure around my relationships to be so abundant. And it's like, but is the abundance of energy? And in Gemini, does that feel overwhelming? And so do we do things that kind of shut it down or turn it off or drive it underground because we're like, that it's so much, I don't know what to do with that. And this is where I like to say, think about if you were someone who's like Beyonce level famous, are you able to go out and live your life? Are you able to do things in public, or does it get overwhelming because of how many people are coming at you and taking pictures and wanting autographs and wanting to touch you? And that energy becomes overwhelming. And that's part of why part of our energy management becomes, I don't know if I can do it, so let's drive it underground. And with the benefics being Venus and Jupiter, we want them to be accessible in our charts and not necessarily turned all the way up, because turned all the way up may be too far. That may be overcorrecting for what they've always been in our lives. And so that's part of why one of the things that I wanted to lean into as we come to the hour, and I mean, I would be happy to keep going and keep going and keep going, but I'm going to be kind to everyone and try and keep this to an hour. What is the overwhelm? Like, what is the note for overwhelm? What is the thing to do? And why chart harmony is such a great fix for this? Someone who wrote to me, and I'm not finding it, so I'm not going to obsess about trying to find the right one. Someone who wrote to me on this one in the texting app said specifically, I did your 44 days with Venus, and I found it incredibly helpful. And since then, I've completely lost my way with Venus and I don't know what to do. And my response was, go back to 44 days with Venus. You didn't lose your access to it. It's lifetime access. So you should go back to 44 days with Venus and do a few of the days. In fact, one of the things in 44 days with Venus is a check-in every so often where you score, I loved this day, I hated this day, I need to come back and revisit this day. There are some days on there that you didn't do the first time you did 44 days with Venus. And I know that is true because it was set up that some of the days are going to just be, I'm going to come back to that, because we want to deal with the ones that are the most approachable, the most accessible first, to just get that opening clear so that we can connect with that magnifying, magnetic, magnanimous even, but that beautiful tractor beam of all that is good and abundant and riches and deserve and yummy that is Venus. We want to pull all that in, so we don't want it to be, let's do all the Venus. So chart harmony exists to help you baby step toward what little thing you can do, whether it's start something at a certain planetary hour, or do something on a certain planetary day, or wear a color that goes with that planetary day or the thing that you want to access. Right now, we're having this conversation on Jupiter's day. I should be wearing purple, but I know myself, and on Jupiter's day, I can do too much. Therefore, I wore some Daddy Saturn to help me rein in an abundance of enthusiasm that I have, because my Venus, which is not the same as Jupiter, I know, but my Venus is in the 11th house in Leo, and here I am doing live streaming to my 11th house community using my Leo chart ruler right there at 29 degrees on Lilith, on Regulus, like, you know, she's big Venus energy over there at that critical degree. And on Jupiter's day, I would never stop live streaming. We would go for like 5 hours, and I would not be kind to my nervous system or to yours. Therefore, I say, hey, Daddy Saturn, help me keep that in check. And then I don't spend the whole time going, keep it in check, don't go long, don't go long. I don't ever have to say it to myself again, because I said it when I put on the Saturn color. Colors, Chart Harmony 101, free, how to get to all these colors. chartharmony.com if you need links to places where I can help you. But the idea is not do it once and then you forever fixed it. Like I said to the client who wrote in at the texting app about 44 days with Venus being incredibly helpful, but it's not helping right now. And I'm like, when's the last time you logged in and did any of it? It's like brushing your teeth. You don't, it's more like wearing a retainer than brushing your teeth, but it's still a teeth metaphor. You know when you go a couple nights without wearing your retainer. All that money you spent on braces, or your family spent on braces, or on that Invisalign that you did, or whatever your situation might have been, you can tell. You can tell because stuff shifts. And it's not that it shifts so dramatically that you're like, I'm in pain putting my retainers in later, although that can happen. But you can tell, oh, it's been a minute since I put these in. I need to remember that there's a really good reason I wear these. And do the chart harmony a little more frequently. And it doesn't have to be your whole day. It can be as simple as this morning I said, I'm going to put on something black-ish to help me, because this is actually kind of gray flecked. So, but I really love using planetary hours. And I have an app that is called Planetary Hours. There are a bunch of them, bunch of apps, but this is the one called Planetary Hours. And hopefully you can see my screen where it shows right there that we are in the hour ruled by the moon. Dun, 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 dun. Nope. Too reflecty. There. Oh. Okay. Hopefully it's bouncing different places so you can see it. And if I change over to the list form, it shows me, wait, I want to get to today. Why are you showing me? Show me today. Show me now today. Today, October, not 29th. October 2nd, please. Okay, Jupiter's day and a list, and it gives me the exact times. I know I have a tiny little screen. Look at my iPhone's so old it only has one hole for camera. Bloop, bloop. I know, but that's good. That's how, tinfoil hat. They can't get me. Okay, so I've got all the planetary hours during which I can do all the things. And so it is currently just started moon hour. I am going to be finished with this broadcast and celebrate the hour of the moon by doing things that are more moon-like, more nurturing, quieter. And I don't have to spend the whole freaking hour doing that in order to enjoy planetary hours. But by doing that, I set myself up for when Saturn hour rolls around just a little bit later, I'm going to be ready to go. I've got some boundaries. I've got some rules. I got some big work I got to do in helping move all our curriculum over to a new platform again. And all of that work is something that is wonderfully undertaken with the structure of Saturn's hour. Just use planetary hours. And if you're like, I can't even be bothered to keep up with planetary hours, great. Planetary days of the week. Today is Jupiter's day because it's Thursday. Wear some purple if you want to bring Jupiter closer in. And if you're like, nah, Jupiter is already a lot for me, then do something that shows I do honor you, Jupiter, because I know it is Jupiter's day, but I'm also going to give you the assist of some Saturn to rein that in. Or I want to give some workout to that Jupiter-Mercury relationship that we've spent time talking about today. And I want to do some Mercury activity on Jupiter day, because that's going to help me integrate those energies. Just play with it. Bring a sense of fun to it. And always look at, is there another way to come at this? Is there a reframe that I could give myself which would allow me a better understanding of and a better connection with my own chart? Will it help me understand others? That's probably one of my favorite and least favorite things about astrology is the more I do, the more I forgive some really crappy people because I understand them astrologically. And once I understand them astrologically, I'm like, they're just living out their chart. They're just doing exactly what their chart says is going to be easy for them to do, for better or for worse. I know. It's pretty Zen, right? Is that Zen or is that Taoist? My husband will tell me. I think that's Taoist, actually. You have parking luck. Uh-huh. Look at y'all sharing that. Fabulous. Extreme parking luck. Yep. So, by the way, so does my husband with his Jupiter Gemini. He just enters a parking lot and goes, where's my spot? And there it is. It's just like, boom. It's amazing. And sometimes if I'm driving, I'll go, hey, hon, can you open up a spot? And he'll go, sure. And he just thinks about it. And then there it is. Boop, finds it. Look at you two connecting. This makes me so happy. Excellent. Had to start wearing my retainer again after a few years. Oh my God, moon dust. Are you serious? Yep. I knew that planetary hours started at your respective time zone, but didn't realize we would actually have different planetary hours throughout the day. I'm in a Saturn hour. Yeah. The way it works is sunrise where you live is the start of the planetary day. So today, Thursday, at sunrise, wherever you are, it was not only the start of Jupiter's day, but it started on Jupiter's hour. So that's how you can always know what order we're going in. And the order, for those of you who are like, I don't know Chaldean order, you have to tell me. I got you. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Got it? Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Then back to Saturn. So that's the order we go in, and we start at sunrise. Daddy Saturn starts us off on Saturn's day, Saturday. And then the hours are not exact hours. Some of them are a little over an hour. Some of them are a little under an hour. Depends on if we're before or after sunset. don't get in the weeds with this. Just know that planetary days start at sunrise and they start on the hour of the day. And yes, that means whatever time zone we're in, we will be having this meeting at a time that is my planetary hour moon, your planetary hour Saturn, because we're in different time zones. Right, exactly. And that can be used to your advantage. You can schedule meetings with people in different time zones, giving them the planetary hour that you want them to have and giving you the planetary hour that you want to have. I can get really geeky with this. For real. Yes. Love my purple Jupiter days. I do too. I really do like them. I mean, I knew it started at your respective sunrise hour. Yes. I understood. It is. Yes, it is cool to see we're in different hours. I agree. Y'all, we did it. We may do this again because I still have a folder full of astro reframes that were requested. This is actually fun and a muscle that I like working out, and something that I hope y'all will continue to pull from in your own lives. Like, is there another way to look at that? Is there another label I could put on that? Or specifically, can we respect that some of the astro memes and labels exist as a means of helping people connect with astrology for the first time? Because memes and sharing memes with one another is sometimes how people learn about themselves astrologically, and then they may be curious enough that they go deeper, and then they realize that the memes are nothing. And that, but I don't want them to be so quick to throw away the memes. I want them to be able to say, hey, the memes are what got me into astrology and got me caring enough to learn that it's so much more than this. So don't be mad at the generalizations. Don't be mad at the stereotypes. They help people who are curious to go deeper have an inroad, have an on-ramp. And I am grateful for that. Okay. Love you, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. If you have questions, pop them in the comments, because comments remain open long after our time together here. See, somebody just revved their engine and I'm able to go, that car is expressing big Jupiter energy. Mercury style. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining me. I love having y'all here live. I love y'all watching in replay. I feel the energy. We're all gathered here anytime. All right. See you next time. I did recently put up at YouTube some scheduled stuff. And if you go to bonniegillespie.com/events, you will always know what's coming up next. Save the date. Got 2 save the dates for you. October 18th, we're doing the Astrology Vision Board Party. I will have a registration enrollment link out probably next week. And then on the 24th of... Wait, I have my whole list of my entire calendar now through April of 2027. I shit you not. All my live streams, all my Use Your Moons, all my Live Your Charts, all my JFDI, all my Expansive Capacity, all my Astrology for Creatives, all my Goddess Mistress Mind, all my webinars, all my revisioning, all my Melissa Has Questions, but we're rebranding the podcast. We're only shooting one more time as Melissa Has Questions, and then we're rolling out our new identity, which I'm so excited about. This is a lot. But now I have my schedule. So if you want to know, I've got it for you. I will be doing my next Use Your Moons on October 16th, 2025. That is also my sober anniversary. And my next live stream will be on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Hope to see you back here. I don't know what topic we're going to do. As soon as I figure it out, I'll schedule that one too. I mean, it's scheduled, but I'll schedule it at YouTube. Love y'all. Be good to yourselves. Thanks for joining me. Bye.